Then in Matthew chapter 21, Matthew reports of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem as a king. And he does this more fully than the other Gospels. And then he follows it with Matthew chapter 22, verses 1 to 14. It's a parable which shows that the king can choose whom he likes to enter his kingdom. And then there's a unique indictment in chapter 23, verses 1 to 39, of the scribes and the Pharisees who abuse their authority and live unrighteously. And then in chapter 24, right the way through to chapter 25 and verse 46, there's some detailed teaching about the second coming of the king who will return with universal authority to judge and to rule. Now, in Matthew's record of the passion, the death of Jesus Christ and the resurrection in chapter 26, right the way through to chapter 28, he gives a full account of the trial by the Roman governor. Can you see how he's constantly bringing authorities to bear upon this subject so that people then can see that Jesus is the real king? And he makes a great deal of Pilate's question in chapter 27 and verse 11, where it says, "Now Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, 'Are you king of the Jews?' So Jesus said to him, 'It is as you say.'" So here we have Jesus before Pilate, the Roman governor. And he's asking him, are you the king? Are you the real king? And Jesus says, "Yes, I am." And then also how this is reflected in chapter 27 and verse 29 in the kind of mocking of the soldiers. When they twisted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews." And Matthew plays on this irony that he is the king that he's been presenting right the way throughout the gospel, and yet he sees the rejection of the soldiers and the crown of thorns rather than the crown of glory. And so Matthew is presenting Jesus as the king, but showing us that he's a very different kind of king from the kind of kings that were around at the time and since, quite frankly, because he's the unique king of all kings.